Hey, I wanted to make this video to answer a question I saw in a Facebook group called Choosify about how to make money on the side hustle. So my answer in the group was to do consulting in a line of work that you already do because, A, you already know how to do the work, and then B, you already know potential customers. So whether it's like a company that you used to work for or an old customer or supplier, you're already familiar with the industry and the people in it, and so you already have hopefully a good reputation, which is important for getting a consulting gig to make some money on the side. So I had a couple of consulting agreements in 2020 on top of my normal work, and one of them was with a small company doing system engineering with some friends. The company was started by some friends of mine who I actually used to work with at SpaceX, and now they're an engineering design house. And so I did about a month of system engineering, quality, reliability work with them, and made about $3,000 doing it. And my second engagement was working with Raytheon, who was my past employer. I started working at Amazon this year, and I worked for them part-time for 5 months, and ended up I was working for them about 20 hours a week, about 10 to 20 hours a week. I think I ended up making about $40,000 off of them. So it was, it ends up being, between like one and maybe like $6,000 a month extra. So the way I got those, both of them, is coworkers or former coworkers, and I had already kind of like had a good reputation with them. With Raytheon, I was essentially doing some system engineering, like software tool administration, like Jira, Confluence, Atlassian stuff, and they wanted me to keep doing it and train a replacement. So I ended up doing that on a part-time basis, and so they already knew I could do it. I set up the systems that they were using, and so they knew that I could further improve them and add extra documentation and train more people. So I ended up creating like training classes for people, getting people onboarded, training a couple qualified replacements, and then for the engineering firm, I had not only worked with them for 2 years, they kind of knew my approach to system engineering and reliability, and I had also provided like a free consultation for them about a year before. That was essentially they were looking to get into the medical industry, and I gave them kind of like a quick 1 hour seminar of like what a company needs to in terms of documentation and design practices, and so they knew that I was kind of credible in that area. So it really didn't take anything special on my end. I kind of just had informal conversations with both companies, and then they gave me paperwork to sign, and then I just started working for them, and then they wrote me checks, and so it was just pretty much like working with them normally. There was actually one experience I had in 2018 where I was going to do consulting with another company, actually with SpaceX as the end customer, but through a consulting firm, and basically there were just complications with the supplier relationship, basically that prevented that from happening. But I actually signed with the consulting firm to do that, and basically the company set it up where SpaceX put me in touch with the company and said, here, talk with them, we'll work it out. And so that would have happened, and it would have been another one of these engagements where I could make some money on the side, but it basically just kind of fell apart just because SpaceX decided they didn't want to work through a consulting firm, which happens sometimes. So not every attempt is going to result in an engagement where you can make money on the side, but I learned that it's really important just to keep nurturing your network, just like be in touch with people that you have worked with in the past and keep working, may work with in the future. I would say it's important to have a good like LinkedIn presence, just so anyone can look you up, and so you can tell people very easily like what you're all about, like what you specialize in, what types of problems you solved in the past. And it's also a good idea if you are actively looking for work, just have a website, have some kind of case studies so that potential clients can get a sense of like sample projects you can work on, just so they can already sort of decide that, yeah, you're a possible fit for the problem that they were trying to solve. And I would also, send out. I think it's fine to send out mass emails once in a while to your emailing list, just to let them know if there's like any big changes. So like if you decided you want to start doing this as a side hustle, you could send an email blast to everybody saying, hey, by the way, this is what I specialize in. This is the type of side work that I'm looking for. And, it's not really an annoying spam if you're just doing it like once. So that's something you can do. I also recommended this book on the thread. It's called Consulting for Geeks. It's like a $5 ebook. It's not like it's not like a slick ebook. It's honestly, it just reads like this kind of graybeard engineering consultant who just is like writing down all of his notes, which is actually perfect because I love reading stuff like that. But it's $5. I'll link it in the video. I'm not going to make any money off it, but it's just a good look inside the head of somebody who has like an engineering mindset, not like a business mindset, but just someone who just tried things and it worked out for them. And I think that's kind of what people who are striking out as engineering consultants usually do. They'll kind of just reach out to the network. They'll get some gigs, and then they'll either like it and they'll keep getting more gigs. They'll keep getting more kind of informally and decide at some point they want to do it full time as a consultant, which has its merits, which I'm not ready to do at this point. I don't really want to, but I could see like for a future role or like future part of my career where I might want to just do like part-time consulting gigs, maybe like when I'm a little bit older, like when I want to have more free time to just like travel or something like that. But yeah, so I hope that was helpful. In terms of like an action plan, I would just say, think about what services you want to offer for consulting, and just kind of like write a quick like 1-page email, and I would put it in email form, I would put it in website form, I would put it in like your LinkedIn profile form, and then just like reach out to people. I think networking is the most important part of this, just so people know that you're available, and don't get too attached to any one person saying yes or no. It's just kind of a numbers game, and it's not a short-term game necessarily. It's like it's a long-term thing. Hopefully this is something that if you like the work, you won't mind if you get to do it now or in a few months or in a year or in 5 years. So I would just think of it as kind of like gradually growing another stream of income. So yeah, I guess that was 2 steps. And then third, I would say when you actually get a consulting gig, maybe I can make another video about that later. But it can be very challenging just to schedule your life, just to make room for, your day job, if you have a day job, your family, your like social commitments, and this side hustle. I know it was for me, when I was doing like a 5-hour a week thing for my friend's company, it wasn't hard to schedule, but when I was doing like 20 hours a week, it was incredibly challenging. So I would just check in with your family and make sure, that they realize that that's your, something you want to do, and just, you're making plans to account for that. It might mean that your free time that you normally spend like cooking food, maybe you just decide you want to order delivery instead just to save time. Maybe it means that some chores that you normally spend maybe 5 hours a week on, it might be more efficient just to have like a housekeeper do them while you're doing the consulting. Or just, you got to think about kind of just like life optimization. I guess that's nothing new for this group. But yeah, that's my advice, and feel free to reach out. I don't have anything to sell, but feel free to just hit me up in the Choose FI group, or just personally send me a message, and I'll be happy to give you tips. Although I pretty much gave you all my advice here. The real key is just go out and try it yourself, and your niche is going to be different than my niche. Mine was kind of system engineering, software administration, reliability engineering. I talked to someone whose specialty was process improvement. And I would say like anything you do that's like highly transferable to different companies is great. I mean, like what I'm still good at, like Jira Atlassian administration. A lot of companies use that tool. It's almost as ubiquitous now as like Microsoft Office. So, I could potentially get a lot of business doing that if I wanted to. And process improvement absolutely is too. I think you just have to organize your tools in terms of what could have mass appeal, and maybe make case studies. Let's say if you want to do like a Kaizen method or something like that, like inspecting the process, have certain examples maybe from different industries where that would work. If you do value stream engineering, value stream management, have some examples where you've done that and how you'd approach doing that, just to demonstrate to a variety of potential clients what you can do for them. So, yep, that's my advice. Thanks, and I'll talk to you later.